What's up, everybody? Welcome to Are You Down with LPT, the podcast where agents like you share their stories, experiences, and insights to help each other level up and thrive. In every episode, we're diving deep into the real-life challenges, wins, and lessons from the front lines. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, this is the place to connect, learn, and grow together. So, if you're ready to get down with LPT and take your game to the next level, let's jump in. Welcome back to Are You Down with LPT? This is Kyle Clarkson. I'm here today with
Ted Grandquist.
Yeah, what are like the Godfather?
The Godfather.
I don't know.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, Ted, we've known each other. I've been in real estate since 2004, and you were in about that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in it.
When was your first year?
1974.
1974. So just a couple of years before I was born. So you were in 50 years. Is this 50? Oh, yeah, 50 years now.
Actually, 51, yeah.
Yeah. And, Grandquist name, is kind of big in the Des Moines area. Is that kind of how you got into real estate, or how'd that whole begin?
Yeah, you listen to it. You probably lived the same life I have.
Yeah, right.
My grandfather and uncle and father and whole family was involved in real estate. Started out in the construction business. My grandfather had a large home building and apartment building construction company in Des Moines. And then my Uncle Ken actually was involved in that. But they also owned a real quick story here. They also owned a gas station, almost like an original Quick Trip. It had a gas station and a drugstore and a little miniature store.
What year?
Up on the corner. This would be in the mid '50s, and one of his best customers was Bill Knapp.
Yeah, okay.
Bill would come in, and Bill was just starting to think about starting a real estate company, and he liked Kenny real well, and he asked Ken if he'd be interested. So that got us all into the other side of it too. So long story.
You always know you're going to do real estate, or was it kind of, well, I don't know what else I'm going to do? This is for me. It's like I don't know what else I'm going to do.
Yeah, basically the same thing. I mean, I went through school, and I did go to law school at Drake for a year, and it didn't work out real good for them or me. But actually, the way I look at it is, it did work out real well for me, because this is what I've actually enjoyed since the very first day. I've always liked it. So, just was taught the basics back then. You got in, and it wasn't all the things that you've got today with the social media and such. You actually had to go out and market yourself, and I still believe in that, and I know you got to tag it with social media, but you've got to go. I was involved in all the most of my business was based on sports, so I would go to and be involved in all the luncheons with Drake. I'm a Drake grad, so I went to all those things and met all the business owners, and I was involved in the Iowa State too, and went to all their luncheons and just marketed myself, and that's how I built it. And open house.
Did you have a Rolodex as well, or not? No Rolodex?
No Rolodex.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I can tell you, Kyle, your Rolodex was you wrote names down and the phone numbers down of your contact. As you met them, you gave them the card, and you got the card, and then you had all your prospects in your suit pocket. Suit pocket, and that was my Rolodex.
Yeah,
so it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Was that residential real estate at the time when you first got in, or?
I did. I've always, I've always done residential, but I also was always involved in income properties too. I started buying houses. I actually owned a house before I even got into real estate that I had bought, and they call them flippers today.
Yeah.
I'm not real handy, but I'm real good at knowing what it needs to look like and clean it up. And, everything else, and if it needs painting or whatever, I could do any of that. And I did that while I was going to Drake. Did it a couple times, and then flipped all that money into a duplex, and then flipped that into actually tore the building down and built an eightplex. So, right. So my core has always been residential. I had to sell houses to make it work, and really enjoyed it. I did.
And somewhere then, you sold, you flipped, you did the investment side, and you started getting into some management then somewhere down the road. Like, when would that have been?
So I was at Iowa Realty from 74 until '82, my uncle and my father sold their share out of Iowa Realty and started a new company. It was called Universal Realty, actually. And and so they started and built quite a large company out of it.
Yeah.
And then they wanted me to open up a West Des Moines office, which I did. And I think it was in '82 or '3. Started with a small office. I actually had one of my original agents was Robin Polder.
Yeah. She sold a few houses. So she sold a few houses back in the day.
She was fantastic from the beginning.
I still remember going to the movie theater and it'd be like, there's the sign, the commercial before. It's like, my grandma sold a house every day, or whatever it was. But
yeah. Master marketer.
Yeah.
And just a lady that worked 7 days a week. I mean, she was incredible, quite frankly.
Yeah. So that was Universal Real Estate, and then I don't know what year you would have gone over to Coldwell Banker, or.
Well, so we built the company up to a pretty good size. Actually, it was the third largest. It was Iowa Realty, First Realty, and then Universal. And Universal, actually, my uncle, who had large interest in the Chicago Cubs, large interest in baseball, became quite familiar with a lot of the people in Chicago, with both the Cubs. And then at the time, Coldwell Banker was owned by Sears, and Sears' home base was Chicago.
Yeah.
And so he got to know them through personal contacts.
Yeah, interesting.
And Sears was, as I recall, is when Coldwell Banker started franchising. And so they talked to Kenny about, would you be interested in my Uncle Ken, interested in opening a franchise in Iowa, in Des Moines.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, I would, and because they knew he had a pretty nice sized company at the time, Universal. So he bought the franchise in Coldwell Banker. It was one of the original ones. It for sure was the original one in Iowa, and we changed Universal to Ken Grandquist and Coldwell Banker, Ken Grandquist and Associates. I still have a sign.
What year would that have been?
84-ish or 5-ish.
Wow.
5-ish. And so we did that, and then longer story yet, he had interest in baseball, and he had interest in horses. Him and my dad both owned racehorses, and we were always going to Omaha every weekend to watch the horses run. And he had this, he applied for a gambling license, and he got the first gambling license in the state of Iowa. And then he started accumulating land where Prairie Meadows sits today, and put the whole parcel together. It actually started out where it wasn't going to be there. It was going to be up closer to Monterey, but it went on the interstate.
Yeah.
And then he started gathering the parcels next to where Adventureland is, and that's where it sits today. So he only got so far as to have the gambling license and put the land together, and then the owner of the minor league baseball team in Iowa, which was it was a completely different system with the minor leagues then, where the owner of the franchise actually paid the players and did a lot of the trading and buying themselves. They were affiliated with the team, and I hope I'm telling this straight because I don't quite understand how it was then, but it changed to where all of a sudden the minor league franchise holders all wanted to be affiliated, and all of a sudden Major League Baseball wanted to be more into the minor league system as it is today. It's just kind of developed.
We'll have Alyssa fact check this. So
well, it's pretty accurate. It's
No,
a
I'm just
little wavy, but anyway, so Kenny and my dad were involved in the Des Moines franchise. Or with the owner, and he decided he wanted to sell. His name was Ray Johnson out of Dallas, Texas. Came to Ken and asked if he was interested in buying it. And Ken said, I would be interested in buying it, but I'm only interested if I can get the Cubs.
Yeah.
And so Ray said, okay, well, I'll give you
So were there any minor there was no affiliation at the time? They were just kind of minor leagues?
No, well, we went from, as I recall, we had the White Sox for a while.
Yeah, okay. All right.
We had several others, but the two I remember were the White Sox and then the A's.
Yeah.
So I even remember going to some of the A's games, and at the time they were still in Kansas City, believe it or not.
Oh.
They were in Kansas City, and then what was the guy's name who took them out to Oakland? But I mean, we had Vida Blue and Joe Rudy and Gene Tennis and all those guys that ended up being, 2 or 3 time world champs come through Des Moines. And so that's what we had. But anyway, so, and that was with Ray and Ray Johnson. But anyway, so Ken went to the Cubs. The Cubs said, yeah, we have a lot of interest in having it in Des Moines.
Yeah.
So Ken went to the city of Des Moines, and they said, yeah, we would definitely love to have you there. We'll help improve the park. Ken went back to Major League Baseball and said, okay, I'm applying for a license. And they said, they came back and said, well, you've been approved subject to, now I'm
This is bringing Prairie Meadows back into here.
And and
the
they
gambling.
said, except for one thing, I think you maybe heard the story. And they said, but you can't have both. You cannot have a gambling license and an MLB license, so you're going to have to choose, and he chose the Cubs absolutely positively. And gave up gave the license back to the state, which
it was already
and anyway, so he.
So I don't have to blame him for my losses out there.
No. So he took the Cubs, and then once he got the Cubs, he wanted to do that.
And real estate was not.
And real estate was so back to real estate. So he sold the company to First Realty, to Gene Sandberg.
Yeah, gotcha.
Gene and Dan.
Yeah.
And then of course Gene and Dan. We had a great run with them for a year or two. This all happened just within a few years, and then Gene and Dan had to sell the company and got out of real estate for a while.
And they sold it to Pomerantz, Gene and Dan?
No, they did not sell to Pomerantz. Who bought it was Edina Realty out of Minnesota.
Yeah, that's funny,
and who's an affiliate with Iowa Realty in the Mid-America thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had opened up a new office in West Des Moines from scratch for First Realty. Dan and Gene had given me the job. I was over on EP True and had a lot of success. It was really my first. We went from new to the number one office in the company in 2 years. And Dan came back and wanted to hire me. And there was no non-competes or anything at the time. And so I said, I'll tell you what, I would have interest in joining your company, but a new company, but only if it's got a franchise. And he said, like what? And I actually said, like Coldwell Banker, because we had been Coldwell Banker.
Yeah.
And so they came and got me, and in May 1st of 1990, I went. Marvin Pomerantz had opened up a new company with Coldwell Banker, and of course, my family, my dad and my uncle knew Marvin, and from their childhood, and then of course through business, and Marvin hired me, and while I was there,
and that was early '90s.
May 190.
Yeah, and so were you managing then when you came?
I managed from '82. To 90 through 2 or 3 different companies, and then in 90 they hired me to take over the Regency office. And let's just say I had a large following.
And at some point then, so you're in management, but at some point you're not in management.
I was a manager, actually general manager, sales manager, vice president. Did real well. Liked it a lot. And then my 2 children, my 2 kids, were getting to teenage years in 2000. I'd been the president of DMAR in 2000. And between that and running the company, basically, I I was ready to
take a break.
Yeah. So I went out and...
That would have been 2000, somewhere around there?
Yeah, actually December 31st of 2000.
How old are your kids at the time?
At that time, Teddy would have been 11 and Maggie would have been 15. And my daughter was traveling in
showing horses, right? Yeah.
And my son was traveling for hockey and baseball.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be involved in that, And so and that's what I did and sold. And I was in the top 5 and I was in went to all the trips and so on. And then once they were gone on their own, grown-up adults and so on, actually Randy Clarkson came back and said, would you be interested in getting back into management? Because he had been hired to be the president of the company. So
going back to, raising your kids, being in real estate, you were primarily just doing residential real estate? Because somewhere, you've gotten involved in land, feel like you've kind of known that space or know that space more than others. Is that from your time in management or when you got back into selling there? How'd that come about?
Well, I was always interested because my dad and my uncle were developers. They developed a lot of lots.
Yeah, so you're around it. Yeah.
And so when I was selling, I knew from managing and attracting the accounts to the company, I knew all the builders and developers. I knew the Grubbs, I knew Regency, I knew all of them. Yep. And so when I went into selling, plus I had sold Marvin all the land that he had bought because we developed land for him. Yeah, right. Yeah, Mid-America Group used to do quite a bit of that, right? A lot of it. Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, a lot. And so anyway, I went back and started contacting these guys, and it's another one of the things that you may wonder what I do. Well, I've always kind of done it. Alyssa wonders what you do. I've always done off-the-market stuff. So I was into mostly income properties, which I formed partnerships and owned over 300 apartment units and flipped some houses, built some houses. And then I also I actually developed some land, and I also sold land to the Grubbs, Regency, to all the big players, all of them. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and it still seems like you get excited about land, I do. Right? Yeah, I'd go out and knock on the doors of farmers. Yeah, I call it. You can call it the cutting edge. You could also call it the bleeding edge. So I'd just go out. The next step. The plugins. I wanted the plugins, and nobody was doing it. Yeah. And so I would. The only other guy in town that was doing it was John Klein. Mm-hmm. So that was my competition, and I started doing that, and then 2008 hit. Yeah. 2007 was the biggest year I ever had. 2008 hit, and it was the worst year I ever had. Yeah. It's amazing how quick I'd lived through those days, and 8 was okay for me. For me, 9, 10, 11 each year got worse. Yeah. And so, probably about that same time. What year did you take the job at North Park office? 12. Yeah. And January 1st of 2012. And was I the next year then, or was it 12? Was it similar time that I was the director of education? Well, when you got that, were you at our office? Well, no, I was in the Ankeny office. Yeah, I was in the Ankeny office, and I'm trying to remember if I did that in 12 or 13. I think it was 13 or 14. So I know 14 we had like a 20, what did we get, 25 or 30. Yeah, so I think I was doing that 13, 14, and 15. Pretty sure. So, yeah, so 12 you're there, 13 I'm there. And we loved you there. Oh, thank you. I was, what was one of the notes I had is the growth. So it would have been 14 probably when there was like 20 some agents that were added, and and you think of some of those agents that were added during that time, like there's still a lot of them selling a lot of real estate right now. From being underneath that good manager. That's right. Yeah. They had good management. And I've always loved management. I actually, for as much as I like doing a deal, I have found that managing, you do a lot more deals because you've got 50 agents or sitting. Yeah, all talking to you about 80 agents, and I like helping them do deals. I want them to make all the money they can possibly make. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. So, But anyway.
Yeah, that certainly was a fun time, and hard to believe that was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
10
well,
years
we
ago
were a
now,
good
but
team. You and I and Lori.
and Lori,
We really and of course we had a good group around us. So they all
there's great people, great agents. There's great energy in that office for sure. It was a fun time. Learned a lot. I often reflect on those years. Like that's really where I learned the business for the first time. I learned the sales side of things and all that good stuff. But like actual learning the business, those are probably my formative years. Feels like.
Well, I mean, you've been pretty formative the last several years too, but definitely there we all enjoyed it. We all worked together. You could really see a team go together, produce a lot of real estate. I'm just a believer in if you do a good job with training the agents, and then train them and managing them and help them do their job correctly, that's gonna grow their it's gonna grow their spirit because it's all about treating your clients real well and so well that they don't forget you. And anytime they meet somebody else, they're going, oh yeah, well you got to use you got to use Julie because she's such a great agent. She did a great job for us, and all of a sudden their business explodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean,
and it's fun to be part of that and see people's growth, right? I mean, that's one of the things I loved about being in management and being involved in people's business on the growth side. I'm not going to mention anybody's names, but people that have come and said, hey, thank you. Like, I never dreamed I could have this kind of career. And like, that's pretty satisfying and enjoyable and, big reward when you hear those type of things.
And we've got several in this company. Several in Ankeny were that way. Tracy's management and so on, and we've got several in here that are just do knockout business if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Even a couple people that transferred from other companies that came in early in their career, like AJ.
Yeah.
He was good from the beginning, but got even better yet. So
AJ was just in here a minute ago talking about, you being in your last home and what's next, all that good stuff. But like where you're at now, like different stage, but you're still getting after it. And I know working some deals and land deals and, multifamily deals, and which certainly can sell any type of real estate, but that seems to be, you still find enjoyment and passion in that.
Yeah, and with Teresa, I help her. Yeah. I mean, she's really good at what she does. She works to the level she wants to work to, but I listen to her and hear her, and her deals they're solid. And she does a great job, and I commend her every day for it. So
how long has she been selling now? 10 years?
She trained under you.
Yeah, I know. So it's be 10 plus years.
14. So 2014.
Yeah,
so
2014. 11 years. Yeah.
So, and, several others. So where am I now? I'm only thinking positive.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in here long enough to know, in the business to know the ups and downs that come with it. And I still want to be a factor, and I'm not as, I like her doing the residential, even though I still go out on tour. I've always liked to know
what's going on and all that,
and the pace of the market and so on, because it's going to determine what I do, how good it's going to be. As you know, this year we all thought business was good enough that land deals would be, faster pace than what they are. And the problem with doing the land deals or any investment properties is I always prided myself in, I knew going in I wasn't going to even start the deal unless it was going to close. And I tried to even switch that over to land and income, but it's all business opposed to emotion. So
numbers don't make sense, or business slows down, or home sales slow down. And put a hold on
because it's such a hold anyway. Kyle. Especially if you're looking at large pieces of land, or undeveloped land. It's just or even lots. If you're buying developed lots, it's the risk is so high for as good as our economy has been, and our market in town is
Yeah.
so good. So to answer your question, I mean, I like doing as much as I ever have done.
Yeah.
I like it. I like doing real estate. I like being involved.
And that's the beautiful thing about this job. Like, you can continue to do it
Yeah.
for 50 years plus, right? And, you can do it at your pace and whatever else.
I mean,
but-
do I want to do it 80 hours a week like
No.
I was doing it? No, not really. But I mean, would I if I had the deals? Yeah, I
Yeah,
would.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think, being involved in something like that, I think gives, for you, it's been a big purpose for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And so to continue
It's
that
all
on,
I've
it's a big
ever
deal.
known.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've
It's
never,
a good thing to know.
I have never had another job.
Yeah.
So 51 years.
Yeah.
Or you could say I never have had a job.
Yeah. Many would wake up every day unemployed. Yeah.
So no, I enjoy being with the agents, and I think you've done a great job with the company, and you've got a good staff, and I think it's all good. I think it's all.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate certainly your part in it all, and we're excited about the future and excited to be doing it with you, and appreciate you taking the time today and sharing your story a little bit.
Well, thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Are You Down with LPT? Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you get some valuable takeaways to apply to your journey. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss out. And hey, if you have your own story you'd like to share or questions you'd like to dive into, hit us up. Until next time, stay down with LPT and keep leveling up. Catch you in the next one.